Oh, we got a philosophical question here. Not an advice question, philosophical question. Hi, Aaron, 37-year-old guy with no wife, no kids. I'm debt-free with about $160,000 between 401ks and IRAs. Make $95,000 a year, work remotely at home. About a year ago, I moved from the Midwest to the suburb in Portland, Oregon. I currently rent, but I love the town. I've thought about buying a house here. A decent house in this area runs around $400,000 to $450,000. A condo would be $300,000, but I really don't want to pay an HOA fee. Yeah, and with the HOA fees, you might as well be buying yourself a house. I've read Reconnaissance Man. Despite loving where I live, the conservative minimalist in me struggles with the liberal politics of the state, the expensive cost of housing, and the fact that income taxes here are 9.9%. There's a part of me that is considered moving to Nashville or Austin. Austin, Texas? What, you got to go from one feces-infested town to another? A Republican town, no income tax, and low-cost housing is appealing, but I don't think I would enjoy living there nearly as much as here. I have also considered Vancouver, Washington, not Vancouver, British Columbia. Vancouver, Washington is a town right across the river from Portland that has no income tax, but I really don't like that town as much. Ah! Question, do you think loving where you live should outweigh the political and financial costs? Well, the political costs, yes, but the financial costs, no, because financial costs are hard. What if you can't afford to live there? What if this never happens, a bunch of guilty white people decide to vote to let diversity and everybody come in with, and it's not even like necessarily diversity, but we hate ourselves. Oh my God, what can we do for you? And then the town riots. That never happened, right? What happened? Wonder what property price is going to look like in Minneapolis this upcoming next couple of months. Should I even buy a house? I know that house is not an investment, but I like the idea of having a paid-for house. And I'm not against having home ownership either. However, when I run the numbers, a part of me leans towards just renting and definitely investing the difference. It is easier that way, and as a single guy, yes, that is true. You might as well. You might as well. That's what I would recommend financially. Because a single guy really doesn't need a house. Now, if it was rental property, that'd be different. But, dude, just in Portland? I mean, a city where full-grown adults are allowed to shit in the streets. A city that just so hates itself because it's filled with so many worthless leftists. I mean, they're okay with heroin programs and needles and people shitting in the streets. Lastly, on the investing side, do you prefer Roth accounts for the later tax savings or pre-tax accounts? It all depends on who you are, how old you are, and how much money you make and plan on making. There is no universal answer to that. Lowering my tax bracket now is appealing, but the later tax savings seems smarter. Yeah, well, what if the Democrats decide to renege? Your fellow Portlanders there decide to vote to renege on the Roth treatment of the Roth IRAs, and now you don't get a tax deduction. I appreciate your thoughts on this. I would like a video response. All right. For you, it depends on your life expectancy too. I don't know. We'd have to do a full-fledged financial analysis, but in general, you go with the Roth. If you're older, if you're younger, if you're older, you go with the traditional one. And you're starting to bump up into the income limits. So you might you got to talk to your CPA about this. That's the number one thing. You talk to your CPA. But right now, I think you're just right below all of a sudden where you don't get the full benefit of the tax deduction. But in general, I'd say Roth IRA. But if your mom died at 58 and your dad died at 60, no, then get your tax deduction now. Yes, I agree. Should you even buy a house? Not really. I don't think you've lived in Portland long enough. It's all new to you. Yeah, a year, that's nothing, man. You still haven't hit every feces-infested restaurant, and you haven't smelled enough people with armpit and dreaded hair, whatever other wonderful smells there are in Portland. Now, admittedly, the Columbia River and that valley is amazing, and the hiking is wonderful. It's a beautiful state. I love hiking in Oregon. But, man, you picked the worst shitty hole to possibly live in there. Give it time. I'm fairly certain you should just rent a little bit more and save your money. Make sure this is where you want to live. Because it's like a woman. A year is not enough. A year is not enough. Like you got a quarter for 5 years. See how long you got to put on and then the mask comes off. And I had a bunch of questions. He answered it. Hang on, let me look up this town to see how far out it is. You could be in a far enough town away from Portland. You could be far enough away from the feces. Oh no, you're right there. How far away? No. No. Taxes $414 a month. Yeah. And you did some research. Oregon's property taxes are not the worst in the nation. I'm afraid it would be also like Minneapolis, where they just start jacking up your property taxes because they need more money, and then people move out because they don't want to have. You end up owning a liability. Yeah, I would hold off. I would hold off. You go drive around. You spend a little bit more time in Oregon, Portland, and you figure out if you want to live there. I would strongly recommend you get yourself to what's it called? Vancouver, Washington. Have you really thoroughly looked around Vancouver, Washington? Did you find, is it a bad part? Is it not that nice? Really? There's not nice places. All the rich people going over there to save 10% a year on their income. That hasn't produced a nice little hamlet or two over there. I would really hold off. Really hold off. And there's nothing wrong with waiting. Just keep on renting, throw your money into your retirement funds. But yeah, I would not. And you know what? Yeah, okay, it doesn't annoy you now, but soon it will. Soon you're going to be, what are you going to have? What's 20 years, like 20 years from now, you're going to be eyeballing retirement. And what are the scumbag kids of Portland going to look like then? I mean, gutter punks are going to look like upstanding, reputable citizens 20 years from now. I'm just wondering what's going to happen. Although it could be the real rebels could come in. It could just be a bunch of, nuclear family, stable kids who just didn't want to have their millennial parents, life. It's like, screw you, Dad. I'm going to become a dentist. I'm going to save my money and not major in stupid shit. I'm going to stay married. I'm going to marry a woman who says she's a woman, not a pansexual. Kevin McComber, $5. Increase the minimum wage to a living wage and tie it to inflation. Workers can't afford basic needs, so they turn to welfare to subsidize labor. No. How about we don't have a living wage, and if you can't live on the wage, you don't take it. I can't live off of that. See? How about that? Or people stop having kids they can't afford, or a combination of both. Why is the government always got to solve everything? Yeah, dude. I think you should go to Portland itself and jump. I had a buddy who goes running in Portland every once in a while, and he's got to jump over to he sent me pictures of feces. People taking pictures of shit. All right, there you go. Questions, answers, assholeconsulting.com. I'll see you guys later. Toodles.